Hello, everybody. I'm Amy Fleischer. I'm Dean of the College of Engineering here at Cal Poly. We're really excited to have you all online with us today. There's about 900 of you online right now. We really wish we could have all of you on campus with us right now so that instead of watching videos, you'd be able to walk around and see all the different things we're going to be talking about today. I want to start off by offering my congratulations to all the accepted students. It's really an amazing accomplishment, everything that you've been able to do to get yourself to this point. I know this is a stressful time. All of us are dealing with an incredibly unusual situation that's affecting our families, affecting our situations. And, I know it's affecting many people's senior year of high school. And I want to say, please, even in the middle of this, take the time to make sure that you acknowledge your accomplishments and that this is an amazing opportunity for you. We would love to have you here at Cal Poly, and we want to take today to talk about what Cal Poly is all about and what you would be doing if you joined us here at Cal Poly. So Cal Poly's core principle, as you heard in the entry video, is learn by doing. All of our programs are grounded in learn by doing, and that gets integrated into almost everything that we do. Virtually every class has an opportunity for learn by doing in some form. Our students are incredibly active in clubs and other activities. You'll be talking to many students today who'll be telling you what they're working on in their activities in and outside of the classroom. I do want to acknowledge, and I know that questions are going to be coming in about what Cal Poly is doing right now and what we're thinking about for fall. And what we're doing right now is just as every other university in the country is right now, we're completely virtual learning, but that doesn't mean that we've abandoned learn by doing. We're trying to integrate learn by doing the best we can into our online classes. And we're doing that in different ways, from moving to doing a lot of simulations, hands-on learning of software, different types of opportunities like that. We have a lot of corporate partners, and as we transition to learn by doing, our corporate partners stepped up to say, how can they help? How can they work with our students? How can we continue learn by doing in this virtual environment? And many of them have provided access to resources that are helping with the learn by doing. For instance, in our mechanical engineering program, we teach a vibrations class, and in partnership with Solar Turbines, we're using remote access to their vibration testing equipment so that we can run remote tests and still be able to run our labs that way. Other corporate sponsors have stepped up to put together kits that have been shipped to students for mechatronics classes so that we can still do hands-on learning, just you're doing it from your home in a synchronous environment with other students in the class at the same time. So just because we're virtual doesn't mean we've gone away from learn by doing. We're trying to integrate that in every way we can. People are already asking, I'm seeing questions in the Q&A, what are we thinking about for fall? What I can say right now is we're looking at different scenarios. We don't know what fall is going to look like right now. If I knew, I would be able to tell you, but we can't predict the future. And what I can say is that no matter what fall looks like, it's still going to be grounded in our learn by doing experience, and that's not going to go away. What we need to do, and what we do really well at Cal Poly, is continue to build community. You'll hear the students talking about the clubs, the different home away from home, the different opportunities they have to build those communities. Each one of us has different identities, different intersectional identities. There's opportunities in multicultural engineering. There's opportunities in our Women in Engineering program. There's lots of opportunities for you to find the people that will be your home away from home. And even in this virtual environment, many of those clubs and activities are still continuing on and having social engagements on a regular basis that are still continuing to provide that Cal Poly experience. And what I'll say is we have lots of opportunities here. It's a large school, one of the largest engineering schools in the country, but it gives you a small campus feel. Most of our classes are under 35. And our faculty have specifically chosen to be here. They want to work with our undergraduate students. They want to be in the classroom, and every one of them is dedicated to teaching in our learn by doing environment. There's so many different opportunities for students. You'll also hear today about our summer undergraduate research program that allows you to work with faculty who will mentor you along the way. You will develop very close relationships with many of your faculty members who will play a big role throughout your life and as you develop your career. One story I like to tell, as I've been talking to different Cal Poly students, I was talking to a student who was talking about an internship they were going to be taking. This young woman, one of our electrical engineering students, was saying she was so excited. Her next internship is going to be in the robotics field. And I'm like, oh, why are you so excited? And she said, I don't know anything about robotics. I'm so excited because I get to learn. And to me, that really encompasses what's different and unique about Cal Poly. Students, because of the learn by doing experience, learn that you get the opportunity to try new things. And if you don't know what you're doing right now, that's okay. You'll get the opportunity to learn. I've seen other students who would be of the opinion, I don't know anything about robotics. I'm not going to apply for that internship. I won't know what I'm doing. Whereas our students, I don't know anything about robotics. This is so great. I can't wait to learn something new. And it gives you that confidence that you can learn and that you will learn, and the learn by doing in a hands-on environment is just a unique way to approach your engineering education, and one that I think gives you a foundation for a successful career throughout your life. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to introduce our Associate Dean for Diversity and Student Success, Dr. Eric Meehl, and then he will be introducing our student speakers who are going to tell you about their experience here at Cal Poly. So Eric, go ahead.
Great, thank you. Yes, as Associate Dean for Diversity and Student Success, I have the opportunity to work with all sorts of students from across the college. And I'd like to introduce several students here this morning to talk about their experience at Cal Poly and why they decided to choose Cal Poly. So first, I'm gonna introduce Paula Nguyen, and Paulina. Paulina is a fourth-year biomedical engineering student with a concentration in mechanical design. On campus, she serves on the ASI Board of Directors on student government and is also the treasurer of expenses for Cal Poly Society of Women Engineers.
Thank you, Dr. Meehl, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Paulina Nguyen, and as Dr. Meehl mentioned, I am a fourth-year biomedical engineering student. And I chose Cal Poly because it truly exemplifies the learn by doing philosophy in all of my classes. I've really gotten the opportunity to have a lot of hands-on experiences in the classroom as well as outside. Outside of class, I've been able to work on 4 industry-sponsored projects, one every year, which is something that I don't think I would have had the opportunity to do elsewhere. And then outside of class, I'm also involved with the Society of Women Engineers and student government. So I've definitely been able to refine my leadership experiences throughout my time here at Cal Poly, and it's really allowed me to grow as a student and as a person, and has prepared me to enter the workforce. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Paulina. Now we're going to hear from Aman Asfa. And Aman is a fourth-year electrical engineering student. He'll be done in a 5th year, completing his master's degree as part of the College of Engineering blended graduate program. He's a first-generation Ethiopian American, and he loves to play basketball. Aman.
Thanks, Dr. Meehl. What's up, everyone? I'm usually used to speaking in front of a crowd, but I'm gonna try my best to look into the camera here. Yeah, so my name is Aman, 4th-year electrical engineering major. One of the organizations I'm most involved with on campus that you kind of heard about in the video is the National Society of Black Engineers, NSBE. I've been in that since my freshman year, and it's helped me in numerous ways. One of the things is I've gotten 2 summer internships just by going to conferences with them, and had leadership positions and gained experiences and friends and memories and all that good stuff. So I say that to say, and I think I saw someone ask this question in the Q&A, is like, oh, if I'm a freshman, software engineering student, can I join a club my freshman year? And the answer is yes, in all caps, because there's no age restrictions or anything at Cal Poly when it comes to clubs, and and extracurriculars. So I would really encourage everyone, as soon as you get to campus, just explore, try your best to try different things, try new things. That's what freshman year is all about. And see if you can find your community or your home at Cal Poly and within the College of Engineering. And I've done a lot of that. I've even studied abroad. I did an international engineering exchange program in Spain, and that was a great time. I'm also involved with the Black Student Union on campus. I've worked on campus with ASI, so gotten a little experience there. And there's a whole list, but I'm also in Greek life. I'm in a fraternity, and so in these past 4 years, I am so happy that I chose Cal Poly. I don't regret it at all. I had a tough decision to make when I was coming in, and I'm sure a lot of you maybe are in that same position trying to decide between schools, but I just went where my heart wanted to be and where I felt most happy, and it was the best decision I've ever made. And yeah, so I'll be here all of next year. So if you see me around, say what's up, and I wish you all the best of luck. So thank you.
Great, thanks, Aman. Now I'd like to introduce Valerie Kettering. Valerie is a fourth-year aerospace engineering student from Kirkland, Washington. She is currently the president of Cal Poly Society of Women Engineers, the program planner for the Engineering Possibilities in College, or EPIC Summer Camp, and the Aerospace Department representative for Engineering Ambassadors. Valerie has completed 2 internships at the Boeing Company during her time at Cal Poly and will be graduating in June of 2020. Valerie.
Thanks, Dr. Meal. So I'm actually the daughter of 2 Cal Poly alums, so my family is pretty big on Cal Poly anyway, and I always knew there was this little engineering school tucked away in the central coast of California growing up in Washington State that sounded kind of cool, but I wasn't sure about it, and I went to campus between my sophomore and junior year of high school and felt so comfortable on campus. It's beautiful. Everyone will talk about how beautiful SLO is, but the people on campus were just incredible and welcoming, and the engineering programs are some of the best in the nation, and so it was just kind of the perfect fit. And I've been able to totally find my family on campus with the Society of Women Engineers and been able to be part of a ton of different engineering projects. And I think that the faculty on campus really just support you in a way that I wasn't expecting. You know, in high school, they say, oh, college is going to be different. Your professors won't know your name and you're going to really be on your own. And while that's sometimes true, I found that all of the faculty in my department have been incredibly supportive and really wanted me to succeed. And so I can't imagine my college experience being anywhere else. I've met some of my best friends, had some of the most challenging classes, but also had some of my greatest successes. And I really hope you all consider coming to Cal Poly. It's a wonderful place to be.
Great, thank you, Valerie. All right, next I'm gonna introduce Cindy Sevilla Esparza. Cindy is a graduate student in the Civil and Environmental Engineering Department, focusing her thesis on advanced oxidation processes. She is a first-generation student from a small city south of Los Angeles and also serves as the president for the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, or SHEP. SHEP has been a great way for her to find her support system on campus and has given her several resources to excel in her field. Cindy.
Hi, everyone. Like Dr. Meal said, my name is Cindy Sevilla Esparza, and I am currently the president of the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. I completed my undergraduate degree in environmental engineering here at Cal Poly as well last year, and I decided to stay for the 4+1 blended program. Cal Poly has given me so many resources on this campus, even as a first-generation underrepresented minority within the College of Engineering and being involved in SHEP. I have had an amazing experience and have had so many great conversations with both Dr. Fleischer and Dr. Meal about how to improve diversity and inclusivity within the college. During my time here at Cal Poly, I've been able to get involved in undergraduate research as early as my first year as an undergrad. I've been able to join so many different design competition teams where I've been able to travel to other states and compete against other environmental engineers. And honestly, through SHEP, I've been able to attend so many different conferences and network with people and expand my professionalism and gain so many different friends through those experiences. SHEP has really given me my home away from home and my familia or family on this campus, because we're all going through similar struggles adapting to this new college life and being away from home, most of us for the first time ever. So Cal Poly has really helped me establish those great connections
And I have had really great experiences here as an engineering student. I really hope that you all consider really coming to Cal Poly because it's given me so much more than just a great education and great experience. I've had 4 different internships during my time at Cal Poly. I've worked in Cal Poly labs on Cal Poly's campus. So the school really has a lot to give to everyone. So I really hope you all consider coming here for your engineering degrees.
Great, thank you, Cindy. And finally, I want to introduce Catherine Versteeg. Catherine is a 4th-year mechanical engineering major with a minor in biology from Orange County, California. And she's currently involved with the Engineering Ambassadors, the ASME, or the American Society of Mechanical Engineering, and the Biotechnology Club here on campus.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be able to talk to all of you, even though I can't meet you in person. So a little bit about why I chose Cal Poly. So when I was a senior in high school and I had heard back from all the universities I applied to, I actually made a spreadsheet with my dad, and we kind of listed all the things that I was looking for in a university. So some of that included like cost of tuition, what major did I get accepted to, but it also had like opportunities that the school had. So like, do they offer master's programs if I decided I wanted to stay for that? Do they offer study abroad? Are you like quarter semester system? Just because, you know, that does make a difference. And I honestly love the quarter system at Cal Poly because it gives me the opportunity to take tons of different classes. And I really like the fast-paced environment. And I've been so happy with my decision to go to Cal Poly. I think that the atmosphere, everyone is so supportive and truly like they truly want you to succeed, whether that's other students or faculty members. Everyone's there to help you. And I've been able to study abroad also at Cal Poly. I went to Germany over the summer, and depending on how things go, I'm actually slated to study abroad in Sweden in the fall, which is great. They make it so easy for you to take advantage of these opportunities and go out and kind of do whatever you want to. If you have your heart set on something, there's a resource out there for you on campus to be able to go do something. And I've met so many great people through my clubs. And one of the clubs I really got involved in from the get-go was Engineering Ambassadors. And so we're the people you see if you were to go on campus and take a tour. We're the ones giving you the tour of the College of Engineering. And I've been able to hold many leadership positions. I'm this year's president, and that has really allowed me to grow as a leader. I've met so many great people who also share the passion for engineering at Cal Poly. And we really want to spread how great it is here and how happy we are with all the labs being offered, as you've heard from many people and you'll continue to hear. Cal Poly's motto is learn by doing, and you definitely will learn by doing. I think almost every major class I've taken has had a lab attached to it where we've taken what we've learned in the lecture and have gotten to apply it, and it really helps solidify your knowledge of the material. Yeah, and also SLO is not a bad place to spend, 4+ years of your life at. Yeah, so unfortunately, many of you were not able to take a tour or in-person tour of our college. So we put together a virtual tour so you can kind of get a glimpse of what it's like to be an engineering student at Cal Poly and learn about some of the amazing opportunities we have for you.
Hi, I'm Amy Fleischer, Dean of the College of Engineering. Every day, I get to see the innovative, creative, and impactful things our faculty and students are doing here on campus, and I find it really inspiring. If you're considering attending Cal Poly, we'd really love to show you in person how our students and faculty are making a difference while preparing for the future. But for the moment, let me take you on a little virtual tour. Whenever we talk about Cal Poly, we're proud to share our Learn by Doing ethos, the university's unique, hands-on approach to learning that gives our students a competitive edge. Learn by Doing is particularly emphasized here in engineering, where you can see our students designing, creating, and testing throughout the year. It's pretty remarkable. There's always something interesting going on. One hub of activity is the Bonderson Project Center, located in the Engineering Plaza. When he was an electrical engineering student at Cal Poly, future Silicon Valley entrepreneur Paul Bonderson had to perform his senior project work in his garage due to a lack of space on campus. Years later, he and his wife Sandy supported this modern facility that's home to the Mustang 60 machine shop, open to all students with proper training. Always a hot spot, Bonderson, as we call it, is particularly active as students work to complete their senior projects. The Aero Hangar is a longtime fixture on campus and a place where alumni like aviation pioneer Burt Rutan learn to innovate. It's also a place where you'll find lots of students working on club projects at all hours of the day. The College of Engineering has dozens of clubs, from competition clubs like Cal Poly Racing to clubs that seek to have an impact like Engineers Without Borders and the Quality of Life Plus Student Association. Cal Poly Engineering alumnus John Monet, a longtime CIA employee, started the Quality of Life Plus program here at his alma mater a little over a decade ago. The program, which has since expanded to other institutions nationwide, pairs senior projects with challenges faced by wounded veterans. While our seniors work on these veteran challenges, the QL Plus Club also gives our younger students an opportunity to work on challenges faced by both veterans and civilians, including some fellow students with physical setbacks. Our engineering clubs are in a unique position to make a difference in people's lives, and we've seen many uplifting and dramatic stories unfold here. While some clubs have an impact on individuals with disabilities, others reach far beyond San Luis Obispo and even planet Earth, like our Polysat Club. The CubeSat, a mini satellite that has greatly expanded space research, was co-created right here on Cal Poly's campus. And today, Cal Poly remains a crucial contributor to CubeSat technology. When Bill Nye's Planetary Society sought to have CubeSats travel with a solar sail, a groundbreaking experiment in space exploration, Cal Poly's Polysat Lab was used as a mission control for the LightSail 2 launch, and our students continue to monitor its movement in space. Our civil engineering students have won the National Concrete Canoe Championships, sometimes referred to as the America's Cup of Civil Engineering, 5 times in the past decade. And for more than 70 years, Cal Poly San Luis Obispo students have collaborated with Cal Poly Pomona students to build a huge float seen by millions worldwide on New Year's Day. You'll see our students working at the Rose Float Garage the entire year, creating the only student float in the Tournament of Roses parade. Clubs are an excellent way for our students to share their knowledge of various disciplines, and they're a great way to bond. And because it's important for all students to feel like they belong, we strongly support diversity and inclusivity. One of many programs that promote this, our Multicultural Engineering program, provides a strong support network to build a community and provide important bridges for students' academic, personal, and professional success. Every student has the right to succeed in their educational endeavors, and we're especially prepared to make that happen, producing top-notch graduates that will one day become leaders and innovators. Graduates like NASA astronaut Victor Glover, a general engineering alumnus who is preparing to go to the International Space Station. While the general engineering program allows students to mold their educational plan according to their particular interests, our other programs have distinct concentrations, and for each, we provide the tools needed to succeed. In aerospace engineering, for example, our students use our wind tunnel to conduct aerodynamic testing. Through their coursework, Aero undergrads have actually worked with organizations like Tesla and NASA to test innovative projects. These industry connections provide students with real-world learning, eye-grabbing resume highlights, and vital career contacts. A big reason industry likes partnering with us is because they want to build a pipeline for future employees. Our graduates will be what we call Day One ready, trained by Cal Poly to immediately be contributing members of the workforce. Industry often helps facilitate that by sponsoring labs, like the Cal Poly Northrop Grumman Cyber Lab, which gives faculty the tools to teach computer science and software engineering students about cybersecurity, a rapidly growing field that's crucial to the safety of our nation's infrastructure. Industry support also often helps students focus on societal and workforce needs, including electrical engineering students who learn about building microgrids, industrial and manufacturing engineering students figuring out how to make workflow more efficiently, and biomedical engineering students helping faculty perform important blood vessel research. Industry support comes from private business and governmental agencies like the U.S. Department of Energy, which sponsored research that could help environmental engineering students convert algae to biofuels. We work hard to establish and maintain industry support, and you'll see examples of that throughout our campus. The College of Engineering is one of the most varied on campus, with 10 departments and programs. Some of these cross over, like computer engineering, which teaches students elements of computer hardware and software, while others, like civil engineering, have a more specific focus, concentrating on the physical and naturally built environment. All students are required to complete a culminating experience before graduation. Mechanical engineering students are shown here working on senior projects. These projects have included bike strollers for adults with disabilities, solar-powered generators that could be dropped into disaster zones, and a robot that can detect and put out ember fires. We want to promote that relevant hands-on experience even further, providing these opportunities to students before their senior year. Our summer undergraduate research program pairs students with industry and faculty-sponsored projects with real-world implications. These material engineering students, for example, worked at the Cal Poly Pier to conduct research on artificial reefs, looking at how seawater impacts the corrosion of titanium. Of course, there's much more to see and learn about our college. I hope you'll eventually be able to visit us in person. If you're like me, you'll be in awe of our students, faculty, and facilities, and all the exciting work that represents a typical day here at Cal Poly's College of Engineering.
All right, we're switching back over to our other presentation. There was a question in the chat about, I think it was for, oh, where'd it go? I don't see it anymore. There was some questions about students getting classes. I can talk about that. We do have, you know, a whole process for students to get into their classes when they're come to Cal Poly. They get block scheduled initially. So we set up your schedule for the first quarter, and then we get you into your classes after that. There are wait lists for classes sometimes, and sometimes there'll be multiple sections that you'll need to get on a wait list and then work your schedule. But students do get their classes, and getting classes or not getting classes is not a reason for students to not get to graduation. So we do everything we can to accommodate students so that they can progress in their degree and move forward. So it looks like we're ready to keep going.
All right. All right. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our departments and programs. Hopefully in the tour, you heard the department that you've been accepted to called out. We tried to highlight a little bit on each one of the programs as we went through. And I think a unique thing about Cal Poly is you are admitted directly to a program. Dr. Meal talked a little bit about being able to transfer. There is the ability to transfer between programs after you've already gotten settled here. But one of the unique things, I think, is being able to get started and learn in that department right from the very beginning. Our departments are very dedicated to making sure that new transfer students and that first-time freshmen get that hands-on experience right away. So you're going to find out what it means to be the type of engineer that you've been admitted to. So for instance, here you see our aerospace engineering department led by Dr. David Marshall. And we have students almost immediately working on activities like building rockets and doing launches. And you saw the wind tunnel in the tour as we were going through. Next slide. Right. Our biomedical engineering department, you heard one of our students talk about being a biomedical engineer. You also saw in the tour. Biomedical is led by Dr. Lily Liho. It's one of our most diverse departments, over 50% women in that department. It's a lot of interesting things going on in the department, a lot of hands-on work again, and they're particularly known for a lot of work that they're doing in the tissue field. Okay, next slide. Our civil engineering department, led by Dr. Charles Chadwell, is really very active. You saw our Concrete Canoe Club in the tour. They've won the National Concrete Canoe Championship, like they said, 5 out of the last 10 years and 2 out of the last 3 years. They also compete in steel bridge. And you can come on campus. If you were here, you'd see our concrete canoes on display and you would never know that they're built out of concrete. It's so fascinating to see. They're very lightweight. You know, they don't sink. People ask, don't concrete canoes sink? They absolutely do not. And you get to learn about this as you're working in civil engineering. It's really a wonderful program. Our computer engineering program is, as we pointed out in the tour, a cross-disciplinary program. It's currently part of both electrical engineering and computer science. We're in the midst of elevating it to its own independent department, but it will maintain that cross-disciplinary feel. So it gets you that blend between the hardware and the software, so you get to really go deep into both sides and both aspects of computer engineering. Next slide. Our computer science and software engineering program offers 2 degrees within its department. So we have both computer science and software engineering. They work on an incredible range of different activities. And one of the interesting things that they do for their senior projects is you work on those individually, and they have a pitch to programmers day where people from across the university and across the local community who think they might have a need for computer science in a project that they're working on come and talk to our students and throw out their ideas, and then students will choose different projects to work with. So it gets you that really interesting interdisciplinary feel of blending computer science and software engineering with other aspects of design. Our electrical engineering building, our electrical engineering department, one of our oldest departments, you can see even has a building that's in the shape of E for electrical engineering. We call that the Big E building. You saw a lot of hands-on electrical engineering in the slide. They work on both power and hard traditional electrical engineering aspects, as well as the computer side of things and computer engineering. Always a really interesting blend of what's going on there, and particularly as they're applying some of that work to advanced energy. And you saw some shots of our solar field and people working in the solar field in the tour. Okay. Environmental engineering is housed within our civil and environmental engineering department. They also focus a lot of hands-on learning. You saw in the tour the focus on algae and biofuels, and they spend a lot of time out in the field looking at how engineers can help impact the environment in a very positive way. It's led by Dr. Tracy Thatcher, and this department is also over 50% female. Our general engineering program is a very unique program, and it allows students to custom design their own degree. So students may start out here, they may end up transferring to one of our more traditional fields, but many students in general engineering will stay and can custom design a type of degree to fit their particular interests. Recent ones that we have been in product design, have been in audio engineering, and have been in chemical engineering, which we don't offer as an official degree. Industrial and manufacturing engineering, again, a department that is offering 2 different degree programs. Manufacturing engineering, very, very hands-on, and many of our students move through their labs regardless of their degree program. We see a lot of shop work in here, and industrial engineering challenges you to think at things from a systems perspective. So not just working on one individual bit, but looking at the entire system and how it all fits together and flows. A very incredible and valuable degree program. Our materials engineering program focuses in on the materials that we choose, how the materials are made, and the impacts of different types of materials. And if we think about it, materials are impacting us every day. New materials are being created, and they're developing a new focus in fiber engineering and looking at smart materials. How do we have our clothes be able to tell us what's going on with our physiology? So a lot of interesting things going on here. One of the only materials engineering undergraduate programs in the country. Mechanical engineering, our largest department. They run most of our shops, although they're open to students throughout the university. They take the lead in that. And you see here the Human Powered Vehicle Club. We also saw a little bit of them in the tour. They broke the collegiate speed record this past summer, building and designing a bicycle that went over 62 miles an hour. And then finally, we want to highlight our women's engineering program. There was also a women's engineering panel last night, and we'll have a Society of Women Engineers welcome tomorrow. We have over 1,000 members in our SWE program, and our faculty advisor for the women's engineering program was named Faculty Advisor of the Year nationwide this year for the Society of Women Engineers. So while you get accepted into one of these individual departments, as you see, each one has its unique strengths. There is a lot of interdisciplinary work. There's a lot of opportunities for you to learn from what's going on in other departments. And a very unique thing about Cal Poly is that we offer students the option to do an interdisciplinary senior project experience. You can do your senior project in your own department, or you can opt to do an interdisciplinary senior project, and all departments will accept that as an alternative to the disciplinary senior project. And that gives you the opportunity to work with students from across the college and replicate what it would look like to be in industry where you're working in interdisciplinary teams. As a part of that interdisciplinary senior projects, we also have a couple of sections that focus on entrepreneurial interdisciplinary senior projects. And many of our students in those sections will go into our Hot House Accelerator to try and launch their companies out of ideas that are coming from their senior projects. So with that, I'd also like to highlight our summer undergraduate research program. To talk about that opportunity, I'm going to introduce our Associate Dean, Dr. Bob Crockett, who is our Associate Dean for Innovation Infrastructure, and he is the director of the Summer Undergraduate Research Program, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about what this looks like.
Good morning, everybody. Again, let me add my congratulations for you being admitted to Cal Poly. I want you to think ahead for one summer or two summers. You haven't even made it to campus yet, and I want you to start planning for what you're going to do next summer or the summer after that. Consider our research experience opportunities as one possible option. You know, one of the reasons that you have been interested in Cal Poly, I know that you have lots of choices where you go to school, and I think that the learn by doing is such a big draw for so many of you. And there's so many different ways that you can actually achieve that at Cal Poly. There's the clubs, there's the internships, there's the in-class projects, there's senior projects, but a really important dimension to that is research. Cal Poly engineers are really ready to go on day one because they are so focused on taking problems and coming up with an optimum solution. The interesting thing about research is that it doesn't always work that way. A lot of times the problems are very unbounded and the solution doesn't lead you where you thought you were going at all. So it's a really neat opportunity to be able to do research while you're an undergraduate, regardless of whether you want to continue on with a research career or not. One of our big programs for enabling students to do undergraduate research is our summer program, our summer undergraduate research program. We started this a couple of years ago. It's been growing every year, and it's a very, very popular program. It involves working one-on-one with a faculty mentor on research that they're doing, active research in their field. You're often teamed with groups that could be interdisciplinary or actually cross-college. A really interesting project from last summer was the Internet of Cattle, which involved using computer software and hardware to create a network of cattle to track their health and movement and help ranchers do a better job with raising and maintaining the herd. So, so these projects are both really interesting and a real good supplement for what you're doing in class, and you also get paid for it. There's a $3,000 stipend. It's about an 8-week project. And during that time, as I said, you'll be working one-on-one with faculty, and really it is your time to explore something that you wouldn't necessarily get in the classroom. So I encourage you to watch for this program. We introduce it in the winter quarter of every year. We expect to have about 20 to 30 faculty projects for next summer and involve up to 100 undergraduate students. I'll send out announcements in the winter, the applications in the fall, and if you're selected, you're spending 8 weeks in the summer on campus, fingers crossed, and on a schedule that's based on what you and your mentor decide is best schedule for that particular project. So I look forward to meeting you all in person, and I look forward to having you apply to the program. I think you'll really enjoy this as a supplement to all the other different learn by doing opportunities that we have on campus. Thank you.
All right, so with that, I think we're going to transition to some Q&A. I see we've already answered over 180 of your questions that have been coming in through the Q&A section. We've got 132 open questions. We're obviously not going to be able to get to all of those. We're doing our best as we're working behind the scenes to answer some of these questions. But Dr. Meal has been looking through and trying to come up with trying to look at questions that have been asked multiple times, and we'll answer those live.
Yeah, thank you. So one question that has come up is looking for a session for your department specifically, and the links to those programs are on our website, calpoly.edu/virtual open house. And some of those will be kind of webinar formatted, and some of those will be just you go right into a Zoom link, and so you don't need to register for those. But all the information there for those programs is there. And you can ask very specific questions about your intended major in those sessions. One question that came up, and I'd like to throw this out to some of the students that want to answer this, is balancing club and project time versus your personal time and also your coursework. I don't know if anybody would like to field that one. Go ahead and raise your hand if you, oh, Cindy, go ahead.
I can talk a little bit about it. So it's definitely hard because Cal Poly, because we do have a very rigorous engineering program, it does involve a lot of your own time to study. So Cal Poly has the 25 to 35 rule where you should be studying anywhere from 25 to 35 hours a week, which sounds very intimidating. Especially I knew coming out of as a senior in high school, I was like, wow, that's a lot of studying. But I feel like because as me being part of SHEP and all of the students in the club are also engineering majors, you do also find a lot of time to study with these people. So SHEP, for instance, we like to reserve different fishbowls or areas in the library where students can study. So even though you're kind of coming together and catching up with friends, you're also there to focus on your studying and get any homework done. So it's all about balance and learning to develop your time management skills. It's something that's very doable, but you do have to have a lot of discipline, and it's something that I feel like as a college student you learn to develop over time, especially once you start getting more familiar with study habits that work best for you. Studying in high school versus studying in college is very different, but I feel that with the support that a lot of different clubs offer, with not only offering these types of study spaces, but a lot of them offer tutoring, or they'll have like textbook banks or things like that. So I know in SHEP, we also have a lot of mentoring programs where we try to set you up with someone who's an upperclassman that is usually in your major. So that can also be a lot of help, where they can help you work through a lot of the different problems and things like that. So it's learning about finding the right group of people that you can study with, but that also have a similar schedule to you and have a lot of the same things going on at the same time. So that way you're participating in extracurriculars, but also staying on top of your grades, which is really important.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Cindy. I know one question that came up was about internships, and then also that experience for transfer students as well as freshman students. So internships happen in a variety of ways, and maybe one of the students could kind of chime in their experience. But we have a career services center that we have career fairs every year. We have a career fair that's focused on internships, and companies come to campus to recruit. And I would say, I know I come from the aerospace engineering program, and 60 to 70% of our students do an internship at some point while they're here at Cal Poly. And I would venture to say that number is pretty similar across campus, depending on across all majors. And all these programs that we've talked about, whether it's internships or the summer undergraduate research program, are available to transfer students as well as the first-time freshman students that come in. And one stat that I like to throw out there is that our Career Services Center does a survey every year of students that whether or not they're getting jobs and within 9 months of graduating. And over 90% of our students have a job in their field within 9 months of graduating, and over half have job offers before they graduate. We are watching what's going on with jobs and internships as with everything that's going on right now. And we're actually hosting a virtual career fair coming up as well. And so we're working to make sure that we keep one of our primary objectives is to make sure that people can be successful in their career, and that means finding opportunities for jobs. So I don't know if any of the students want to kind of weigh in on their experience. Valerie?
Yeah, so Cal Poly has 4 really huge career fairs every year. I'm sorry, 3 really huge career fairs every year that are open to all students. And there are so many companies who come to recruit from Cal Poly that they can barely fit them in our entire gym. There are so many companies who want to hire Cal Poly students. And so if you're driven and you have a company you're really passionate about, it's very easy to get an internship, especially in your junior year, but even in your sophomore year or freshman year, if you're really passionate and you really go get those opportunities, it's definitely possible to intern early on. Also, a lot of clubs have career connections. So Society of Women Engineers, Shep, NSBE, etc. They all have alumni and companies that they partner with. And so going to those conventions and conferences, a lot of underclassmen get internships at those opportunities as well. So there's a really strong connection between Cal Poly and industry. And if internships are something you're really interested in, there are so many opportunities at Cal Poly through clubs and just as a student in general that you can get involved in.
Another thing I kind of want to add to Valerie's response is that a lot of majors have major specific career fairs. So I know civil and environmental engineering, they host their own career fair every January. So this is even better because if you didn't get an internship or a job at the fall career fair, you still have another chance on campus to talk to people. And this one, it is a little bit more just intimidating because everyone is looking for a civil or environmental engineering student, but it also helps narrow it down because I feel like the big Cal Poly career fair, there's so many different companies and a lot of them don't apply to you, but a lot of majors have major specific career fairs, which is also another good opportunity that you can network and land internships and jobs.
Don't forget about LinkedIn. That's the new wave.
Let's see, there were also some questions out there about, there's one question, if any of the female panelists, are any of you part of the Greek system? No, okay. So there was a question about that, so unfortunately I can't answer that.
I see a lot of questions about tutoring opportunities. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have, within the university-wide, we have a Center for Writing and Learning, and that's where all of the tutoring, there's free tutoring available for all students to come in, and they have an online scheduling system, and so you can go ahead and pick a tutor based on the class that you're taking and you need the tutoring for. So that's one way that students can get tutoring, and that is free. A lot of the courses around calculus have auxiliary sections associated with it. So it's basically a 1 unit, no credit kind of class, or sorry, it's a non-graded class where you can work with graduate students or faculty to help go through some of the material kind of outside of class, but in a structured way. We're going to pilot some of that within the College of Engineering in some of our key courses that students need a little bit of extra time, and those are again also just part of your normal registration. I would say as well, a lot of the clubs and organizations also do tutoring as well, or have their own kind of tutoring sessions. I don't know if Valerie, if you wanted to talk about the kinds of things that SWE does around that.
Yeah, sure. So we have study sessions that we host for midterms and finals every quarter. So it's a great time to kind of meet as a group and answer questions. A lot of upperclassmen attend so that they can answer questions for underclassmen. We also have a mentorship program. I think a couple of programs mention that as well. So we pair you with a student who's older than you, has been through the classes, and that's a great resource to answer questions. And then we also have a test bank for members. So those are previous members' tests that they've stored away in the office. And you can go look through the tests before you take your test to see what types of questions might be asked. It's a really great study resource, and that's open to all the students that are part of SWE as well. So there's lots of resources for studying in groups besides just making friends in classes and doing it that way.
So let's see, I saw a question that came up as, you know, kind of what companies do we work with? And some of those questions were specific to the major, but I think the answer is all of them. I mean, we work with all of the large companies. Like the question that was asked was specific to aerospace engineering, but so we work with Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, but those companies hire students across the college. They hire computer science, computer engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical, you name it. One of our biggest recruiters is Apple. So we work with them. But we also work with all of the, you know, smaller companies across the state of California and outside of California as well. So there's local companies that recruit our students as well. So it really, you know, it depends on the program. So if it's civil engineering, you know, you're going to be working with a lot of the civil engineering firms and heavy construction firms. And so, but we really have a strong relationship with industry and with our industry partners. And so if there's a company out there that, you know, we've probably worked with them in the past.
Yeah, I would add to that. I spend a lot of time working with our corporate partners and traveling up and down California, visiting companies. And every company that I walk into, they say the #1 school that we like to hire engineers from in California is Cal Poly. There's no doubt that our engineers and that day one ready that we're talking about and the hands-on learning, it is highly valued in many companies. In fact, as Dr. Meal said, Apple is the #1 company that hires from Cal Poly. They run a specific career fair here, not part of our normal career fair, but a specific Apple career fair here, hiring hundreds of students every year. So there's no doubt that every company virtually across the country knows and respects Cal Poly graduates.
Yeah, and I would add to that, I see a question here as well about connecting with our alumni. So we have, our career services runs a program that does connect current students with alumni as part of a mentoring program, but that also obviously helps getting connected with our industry partners that are alumni working in those companies that tend to want to hire Cal Poly students. I really feel like there have been places where a company maybe didn't hire a Cal Poly student and they hire 1 and then 2, and then before you know it, we become kind of a top recruiter school for them. JPL was a company like that. They started recruiting heavily from the aerospace program about 10, 12 years ago, kind of after they hired 1 or 2 of our students, and now they hire many of our students every year. And again, that's not just aerospace, that's across the college they hire. Let's see. There was a question about machine shops and being able to utilize the machine shops. There are several machine shops on campus. We have what we call the Red Tag program. And so students, and that's available actually to any student across the university. You go in, it takes about a half a day. There's an online safety test, and then you do, there's a project you work on as part of that program. You take an exam to get certified. And then once you are red tagged, then you can go into the shops and use a number of the tools that are there, mostly hand tools and some of the machines there. And then you can go on and do a yellow tag, which is now you can use, you can get trained that way, and you can start to use the CNC equipment and some of the other, more complicated equipment that takes training. But that's available to anybody. And you can do that. You can work with those tools either through your classes. Sometimes there's an opportunity to do coursework utilizing the machine shops, or if it's a club project, you can utilize the machine shops. And we have a very robust, and I don't know if Dr. Crockett, if you want to talk about that a little bit more, we have a very robust program with our shops.
I was actually answering a question there, Eric. So give me a real quick question. I'd be happy to answer.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, just talk about the shops and the programs we have for students to utilize the machine shops as part of their work.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, one of the real benefits of Cal Poly is just culturally hands-on and learn by doing is part of everything we do. So the machine shops and the labs, we make them as open as possible. And that's not just for class projects, that's for things that people want to do just on their own. We have a training that's available to all students, and it's in fact outside of the College of Engineering. Anyone on campus can go to our machine shops, take some fundamental classes on safety and some of the basic equipment, get what we call a red tag. We like to call that the license to drill, because that's your ticket to get into the machine shop and start working on things. If you progress on, we have then a yellow tag, which gives you access to the more sophisticated equipment. And by the time that a number of the students have spent their 4 or 5 years there, they are really proficient at anything in the machine shop and ready to help others. We have a large number of students who are actually in paid technician positions that help students with their senior project, help in the training. And it's a neat opportunity to not only get things done in the machine shop, but also to help others, which is really attractive to our students.
So I'll say a question came up that is kind of related to that, and it's, can students who are in one major participate in a club that seems focused on another major? I'd say all of our clubs are open. So the specific question was a computer science student who wants to work on concrete canoe. Yes, you can work on concrete canoe. Yes, you can work on Cal Poly Racing. Something like Cal Poly Racing, not even specific to College of Engineering. We have students from across the campus working on Cal Poly Racing. So all of our clubs and activities are very broad, and they're not necessarily limited by what your major is. So that gives you other opportunities to kind of look at other aspects of engineering in a hands-on way. I do want to briefly talk about, because we're seeing a lot of questions coming in about the wait lists. And on the academic side, we are not part of making the decisions off the wait list. We're focusing today on the academic side and the student life side, and the decisions on coming off the wait list are controlled by the admissions department. So it's not that we're trying to ignore those questions, it's just that's not under our control or our part of what we do at Cal Poly. So we're not going to be able to answer those questions on, how you come off the wait list.
Yeah, thank you. So there are some questions about this idea of how hard is it to ... So Aman said he had some advice to offer there.
Yeah. Yeah, so a lot of questions have been saying like, oh, how hard is it to do X, Y, Z, ABC? How hard is it to... And I have to say about that is it will be hard. College isn't easy. That goes for most schools. But the quote that came to my mind when I was reading all those questions is, nothing worth having comes easy. And that's Theodore Roosevelt. So yes, it will be hard to, accomplish all your goals, admirations, and everything throughout your time at Cal Poly, but it'll be so worth it. It'll be very fulfilling once you get through it, and you'll come out of it a better person. You'll learn a lot of valuable things about yourself, about other people. So I would just say, just be prepared for a challenge. I'm not trying to scare anyone, but be prepared for a challenge. And if you approach it with the right attitude, and a good mindset, and you utilize the resources around you, like some of the stuff we've been mentioning in this Zoom call, and your friends and et cetera, you'll be just fine and you'll come out on top. So that's what I have to say about that for everyone who had those kinds of questions.
Great, thank you, Aman. Let's see here. The one question that came up, and I've seen this come across in a couple different ways, is, you know, how is Cal Poly different than a UC? And I think we all would have a slightly different take on that. My own personal experience, I actually attended UC Santa Barbara as an undergraduate. And don't get me wrong, that's a great school. It was, you know, I had a great time there. We don't have a room on campus that can seat more than 200 students in a lecture. In fact, that's our largest lecture hall, and we only have one of those. Most of the classrooms we have are cap out at about 48 students. And our labs, we limit typically to 20 or so students in a lab. So I think that's one of the biggest differences. It really does, even though we have 6,000 students in the College of Engineering, that small class size really does allow you to get a lot of contact with the faculty and work on all this hands-on work that we do. So I think that's one of the biggest differences. And I don't know if anybody else wanted to chime in on there. And I think we're getting near the end of our time. So maybe if someone wants to answer that, and then maybe we can wrap up.
One thing, well, just like a quick side note, but like one thing I always say to people when they ask about Cal Poly and like how big the school is, I always like to say that it's big enough to where you're always meeting people you've never met before, and you're always like learning new things. But it's small enough to where you're walking around campus, you're always going to see people that you know. So I think it's a great kind of best of both worlds.
One thing I like to tell people when they ask, well, how Cal Poly is different. I know like every freshman, regardless of the engineering major you're in, you're always going to have to take like calculus, like a basic chemistry and physics class. And what I always really appreciated about those classes is that a lot of my friends that went to like a lot of different UCs or even like private schools like USC, they always had, you know, like a graduate student teaching these labs and things like that. Whereas I always had a professor teaching both my lab and my lecture. And this started to deviate a little once you start getting into like actual core classes, but I really appreciated as a freshman that I had a professor for both. And it was just really nice because they were also always really friendly about like me going to office hours, which I feel as a freshman is something that it sounds a little intimidating at first, like just you being one-on-one with a professor. But I feel like Cal Poly did a really good job, especially with all those like core engineering classes that you take your first and second year. They have a lot of resources for you to succeed in, like the workshops and stuff like that, which I feel like a lot of my other friends in other universities didn't have as easy access to. Maybe they also just didn't know about the resources, but I feel like Cal Poly made it very hands-on, and they let us know very frequently that we had these resources that we could benefit from.
Great, thank you. Yeah, so I think we're really kind of pushing towards the end of our time. We did manage to answer over 300 questions, and looks like we've got about 132 that are still open. We're going to go ahead and try to capture some of that and develop an FAQ and post that on our website so that we can try to get some of these questions answered. I will say that as well, if you do attend the programming for your major that you've applied to, they'll be able to answer a lot of questions specific to their program and to their major. And with that, yeah, I just want to say congratulations and thank you to everybody for attending. It's been a really interesting, fun experience getting to look at all these questions and hear from everyone. So with that, I'll give it over to Amy.
Well, thank you, everybody. Like we said, we've been really excited to have you online. We had almost 1,000 of you online at the peak. We've answered over 300 questions in the Q&A. Thank you to the team working behind the scenes who've been frantically typing on all of those to get as many answered as we could. We also answered a number of questions here. Overall, we want to really say that, you know, we think Cal Poly is a special place. We think that the education that you get here is top notch. We strongly believe in the hands-on learning aspect of what we're doing. And we think it really does prepare students for a very successful career in engineering. That is backed up by our strong corporate partnerships and our high placement rates for our students. We really think that coming into a major in your first year gets you the opportunity to start learning about that career from the very first day. And many of our students respond to this in a very positive way. We're hoping you do as well. We know that those of you who are accepted have been accepted into a major, and we encourage you to go into the similar session to this that's being offered by your specific major. Links are all on the virtual open house website. You'll get a lot of information about what it will be like to specifically learn that major. And we hope that you get the opportunity to do that. Thank you so much for spending part of your Saturday with us. Thank you to our students who are spread around the country coming in on a Saturday to spend time with you. And take care. And we hope to see many of you here at Cal Poly in the fall.